In previous videos, we went through the stories of the Trojan Horse, Centaur, and Pegasus. They are the legendary chapters of Greek mythology about horses. The images of these ancient Greek horses become more and more intriguing as we learn more about them. Perhaps when we view Greek mythology through a modern lens, we find the moral and ethical implications of certain stories, such as the treatment of women or the glorification of violence, outdated, offensive, or irrelevant to contemporary society. But there's no denying that the horses in those stories are still fascinating thousands of years later. This video will introduce some horses in Greek mythology that we've not previously discussed, as well as their influence on the ancient Greek world. If Greek mythology is considered an epic of gods and heroes, then horses are an integral part of heroic stories. As mentioned in the previous video, the Centaur Chiron was the mentor of the hero Achilles. And this hero, regarded as the greatest of all Greek warriors, was accompanied by two immortal horses. Peleus and Xanthus were the offspring of the Harpy, Podarge, and the west wind Zephyrus. They were immortal horses, known for their remarkable speed. Homer described them as swift as the winds. Peleus and Xanthus seem to have first belonged to Poseidon, the horse-loving god of the sea. Poseidon gave them to King Peleus as a wedding present when he married the ocean goddess Thetis. Later, Peleus gifted the horses to his son Achilles when he went off to fight in the Trojan War. Achilles' horses were admired by all who fought in the Trojan War, Greek and Trojan alike. The prophetic ability of these two horses, in addition to their beautiful appearance and extraordinary speed, was the most impressive part of the entire story. According to legend, Achilles' best friend and fellow warrior, Patroclus, convinced Achilles to let him borrow the horses to lead the charge against the Trojans. In a tragic turn of events, Hector, the Trojan prince, killed Patroclus by stabbing him in the stomach with a spear. When Patroclus was killed in battle, Xanthus and Peleus stood motionless in the field of battle and wept. Achilles was devastated by the loss of his friend and set out to avenge him. He donned his armor and mounted Xanthus and Peleus, who seemed to sense his rage and determination. Xanthus, temporarily granted the power of speech by the goddess Hera, promised that he and Peleus would keep Achilles safe. But the horse also prophesied his master's impending death. "Aye, verily, yet for this time will we save thee, mighty Achilles. Albeit the day of doom is nigh thee, nor shall we be the cause thereof, but a mighty God and overpowering fate. But for us twain, we could run swift as the blast of the west wind, which men say is of all winds the fleetest. Nay, it is thine own self that art fated to be slain in fight by a god and a mortal." Eventually, Achilles killed Hector in single combat and dragged his dead body around the city of Troy behind his chariot. And soon after, Achilles also died in battle as predicted by the horse. He was killed near the end of the Trojan War by Paris, who fatally shot him in the heel with an arrow. Peleus and Xanthus mourned his death and even wished to leave the mortal realm forever. Poseidon, according to one theory, took the horses back after Achilles' death. When Poseidon is mentioned, I immediately think of two other horses who are related to him. One of them is Arion, a fabulously fast, black-maned horse. By most accounts, he was the offspring of Poseidon and Demeter. When the harvest goddess Demeter was searching for her daughter, she was pursued by Poseidon. To escape Poseidon, Demeter turned herself into a mare. But Poseidon turned himself into a stallion and mated with Demeter, producing Arion. What a common plot in Greek mythology. As the son of two gods, Arion was able to speak, and he was supposed to have great power. But in fact, he could only be owned by one owner after another like property. He was given to the hero Heracles first, then to Adrastus, the king of Argos. Later, Arion saved his master's life in a deadly battle. Aside from Arion, another horse related to Poseidon was Hippocampus, who thankfully was not a child of Poseidon. Hippocampus was a fish-tailed horse from Greek mythology. It was mentioned that they were created out of the crest of the sea waves. They live in the deep parts of the sea due to their large size. They can be sighted in both saltwater and freshwater. Hippocampus are known for their enhanced senses, strength, speed, and ability to jump. Hippocampus were known to be trustworthy creatures living in the ocean. Legend says that the hippocampus pulled the chariot of Poseidon, and they were often used as mounts for nymphs and other sea creatures. They identified hippocampus as their loyal mounts. In addition to hippocampus, there were also many horses as mounts for gods. For example, Eos, Aethiops, Bronte, and Sterope were the 4 horses that pulled the fiery chariot for the sun god Helios. Of course, not all horses in Greek mythology appeared as comrades in arms of heroes and companions of the gods. They could also be evil and dangerous. The mare of Diomedes were 4 horses in Greek mythology that ate humans. They belonged to the giant Diomedes, king of Thrace. The name of the mares were Podargos, the swift, Lampon, the shining, Xanthos, the yellow, and Deinos, the terrible. The mare's madness was attributed to their unnatural diet, which consisted of the flesh of unsuspecting guests or strangers to the island. Some versions of the myth say that the mares also expelled fire when they breathed. Bucephalus, Alexander the Great's horse, was said to be descended from these mares. As the 8th of 12 labors, the demigod hero Heracles was sent by King Eurystheus to steal the mares from Diomedes. According to one version, Heracles fought Diomedes while leaving his friend Abderus to take care of the horses. After killing their master, Heracles realized that his favored companion was eaten by the horses. As revenge, Heracles fed Diomedes to his own horses. Eating their master's corpse make the horses calmer. One version has it that the horses had become permanently calm at that point and were left to roam the countryside. Another version has it that Eurystheus sent them to Olympus as a sacrifice to Zeus, who refused them and sent wolves and lions to kill them. As we can see from the preceding story, Greek myths were filled with equines possessing special powers. Horses that flew with wings, horses that ran like the wind, horses that helped heroes, evil cannibal horses, and even a wooden horse that was not a living creature are all vital elements of mythology and legends. Any fictional story is created based on reality. The importance of horses in Greek mythology proved their indispensability in real life in ancient Greece. Horses played a pivotal role in shaping the ancient Greek world. The Greeks relied heavily on horses for transportation and farming. Horses were used to pull carts and wagons, as well as to carry people on horseback. They were also used to plow fields and to pull carts carrying crops. Horses were more than a means of transport. They also had an important role in popular pastimes. The premier spectacle, which fully capitalized on equine grace and speed, was chariot racing. Its origins can be traced back to ancient Greece, around 1500 BCE. The racing of 4-horse chariots became an event at the Olympic Games beginning in 680 BCE. Horse racing with riders, not chariots, was introduced somewhat later. At the same time, traveling and hunting by horse were luxuries reserved for the rich. Wealthy owners took pride in their horses, and this, combined with the need for military horsepower, led to breeding regimes and advancements in horse care. This leads us to the most important application of horses in ancient Greece: warfare. Horses were used in battle as early as the Late Bronze Age in Greece, circa 1600 to 1100 BCE, first to pull chariots and later for cavalry. Thus, in ancient Greek myths, the status of these noble creatures was raised to an almost divine level, mostly due to their heroic courage in war. In summary, the horse was a symbol of power, status, strength, and nobility in ancient Greece. Many pieces of pottery and sculptures that have survived to this day reflect this viewpoint, and their legacy can still be seen in modern equestrian sports. In fact, there's a rare and ancient horse breed that allows us to see the ancient Greek horses again. The Skyrian horses are a breed from ancient Greece that still roam wild in the country today. However, only around 220 exist in Greece at the present time. Thus, they are a protected species, as they are one of the rarest in the world. Ancient legend has it that they are a descendant of the horses that Achilles took with him to Troy. and linked to the horses of Alexander the Great and those shown participating in the Panathenaea procession depicted on the Parthenon's frieze. This is, of course, an honor that is quite fitting, given that they are the last native horses of ancient Greece. Thank you for watching. This concludes our discussion of horse stories from ancient Greece. Please leave me a message if you have any other interesting aspects. In the following videos, I'll continue to tell stories about other mythical horses. Subscribe to my channel if you're interested.